Welcome to Mindset to Motion podcast, where transformation is not just a dream, but a journey we embark on together. I'm Chase, your guide on this path of health, fitness, and mental resilience. Each episode, we will dive deep into strategies that bridge the gap between wanting and becoming, exploring everything from fitness hacks, biooptimization, and nutrition tips to the power of a positive mindset and habit formation. So, whether you're taking your first steps or looking to elevate your journey, you're in the right place. Let's get set to put those aspirations into action. Welcome back to the Mindset to Motion podcast, where we journey together through the world of fitness, health, and mental resilience. I'm Chase, thrilled to have you with us for another episode that's all about nourishment for your body and mind. Today, we're going to dive into simple nutritional changes for a healthier lifestyle. We all know that nutrition is a cornerstone of fitness, but it can often feel like a complex maze. Let's simplify it and focus on small, impactful changes that can make a big difference. Let's start by talking about common food challenges we face when trying to eat healthier. There's the ever-present temptation of fast food, the confusion around the newest discussed diets, and of course, the struggle to find time for meal prep in our busy lives. It's easy to feel lost when surrounded by so much information and be unsure where to start. Have you found yourself facing these challenges? Or maybe there's something else that's been a hurdle for you. I have found many of these in my life when I started trying to implement better eating habits. I often found that making changes didn't seem to have the impact that I expected. I would add more protein or focus on changing the times that I ate without really tracking all of the foods that I ate. Many of us have food sensitivities, not necessarily allergies, that cause us discomfort. Interestingly enough, when you have issues at work or if you have pain problems that you're dealing with, you will work to keep track of what's causing the issues. But we don't always keep track of our food in something like a food journal. Now, I don't do this all the time, nor would I recommend that anyone do it forever unless you have a medical condition that requires you to track your meals like that. Here is what I recommend to my clients when we discuss this. Start keeping track of what you eat and how you feel right after you eat. Also track how you feel before your next meal. Things like, I was lethargic, bloated, energetic, sleepy. Did you get joint pains, loss of hearing, loss of smell? Was it hard to move? These can be directly related to many of the foods that you eat and how your body reacts to them. Many nutrition coaches will recommend doing elimination diets where you completely remove things like sugar, gluten, and dairy from your diet, waiting a few weeks for them to completely clear from your system, and then adding them back in. This is not impossible for people who are single and living by themselves, though still difficult. For people who have families and cook with or for many others, this type of elimination is very hard to maintain. This is why I always recommend starting off by keeping track of your meals, identifying if the meals contained sugar, gluten, or dairy, and in some cases, they may contain a mixture of all three. You may find that on meals that have dairy, you're fine, and meals that have gluten, you feel bloated. That's an example of what happened with me. When I started these methods for myself, I noticed that I was feeling bloated a lot during the day after I started eating. By tracking meals and foods, I was able to identify that it was gluten causing me issues. Though I had allergy testing that didn't indicate any gluten intolerances or allergies, my body still had reactions to it. So I cut gluten out of my daily diet for a few weeks to give it time to clear from my system. I then scheduled to eat a heavy gluten meal and found that I got joint pain following the meal. And in some cases, I would have a little bit of time where I almost completely lost my hearing. All of these symptoms are consistent with swelling caused by inflammation. If you feel worse after you eat a specific food, you might just have a sensitivity to it. And by knowing this, you can make decisions about what to eat to feel your best. Now on to the exciting part, simple changes that can lead to big wins. It starts with hydration. Drinking enough water is a game changer for your overall health. On average, it's recommended we try to consume about 1 gallon of water per day. This recommendation is for people who are mildly active, which would be working out between 3 and 5 days per week with daily walking. For those who have heavy exercise regimens, it would be a good idea to increase your water even more to accommodate for the extra loss of water when sweating. Then there's incorporating more whole foods into your diet. Think lean proteins, fruits, vegetables, and non-enriched whole grains. We will talk more about these, but in the food and fitness world, there are three macronutrients: protein, fats, and carbohydrates. Figuring out your ideal amount of each of these will make things easier when planning out your meals. For a most balanced diet of about 30% protein, 30% fat, and 40% carbohydrates will help you with meeting your health and fitness goals. Not all types are created equal. You can get carbs from bread, but you can also get them from fruits and vegetables. While I've never read any reasons that we need things like bread in our diets, I also understand that it's a food that we enjoy. Previously, I discussed elimination dieting, but I want to make clear that I do not recommend it for the sake of withholding things that you enjoy. Rather, it is great to remedy any ailments that might be caused by foods. I have worked with clients who have told me that trainers and nutrition coaches told them to 100% cut things out like chocolate and other things that they enjoyed. I explained that trying to remove things that you enjoy by restricting has the least amount of success. Many trainers do not have a sweet tooth, but have other things like beer and drinks that they like. And if you were to tell them to cut it out 100%, no exceptions, they would not be okay with it. Success in nutrition is all about moderation. If you like to have chocolate, eat it, but make sure it is as clean of an option that you can find and set your limit for how much you eat. Those clients who told me about restricting usually tell me about shamefully eating an entire bag of chocolates or a whole pack of Oreos in one sitting after going weeks without any sweets. Most times, it's about portion control. Sometimes, it's not about what you eat, but how much. If you want to enjoy something, just plan for it. Restricting almost always leads to slip ups and then shame. I tell my clients that I want them to be proud of themselves, proud for hitting their macro goals, proud for sticking to their plan on sweets. Perhaps it's ice cream once per week. Maybe it's a cookie with dinner, or even a few pieces of chocolate with your coffee in the morning. When you restrict based on quantity and not the food type completely, you're more likely to succeed in keeping your goals. Unfortunately, there is likely to be a food that you like that your body doesn't react to well. My clients ask me how to deal with this. I recommend that they find another option to replace it with. If you love bread, but find out that it makes you sick, try to find a gluten-free bread. Not all of them taste very good, but make sure that they have clean ingredients. You don't have to give up everything that you love to be healthier. Also, there are some clean snacks you can make at home that will replace these less healthy options. Another easy switch: choose healthier snacks. Swap out those chips for a handful of nuts, but be mindful of the serving size, because eating an entire container of nuts will destroy your macro goals. Or possibly get some crunchy carrots. Small changes like these can lead to lasting habits. Adopting these changes is one thing, but making them stick is another. Creating a sustainable habit means integrating these changes into your lifestyle in a way that feels natural and doable. It could be as simple as starting your day with a glass of water or packing your lunch the night before. One of my favorite books on this is Atomic Habits by James Clear, and he said, "It is better to do less than you hoped than to do nothing at all." One of the best ways to build a new habit is to identify a current habit that you already do each day and then stack your new behavior on top. So let's say you want to walk every morning and you normally have coffee in the morning. Could you find a thermos that would enable you to drink your coffee while walking? I'm sure you can think of at least one current habit that you never miss that could be used as your anchor for a new habit. And remember, it's okay to start small. Choose one change, focus on it for a week or two before adding another. Gradual steps lead to significant progress. Many of us, especially me, take on these enormous tasks, these enormous goals, and then wonder why we don't make progress as fast as we hoped. It's hard enough to create a new habit. I discussed last week about my 100 days to a better me challenge that I set for myself, and I ended up quitting. If you didn't hear that, go back to week 1 and check out how many tasks I set as my daily goals. I set myself up to fail from the beginning by not allowing a reasonable amount of time for the tasks to become a habit. Once it is regular and you do it without thinking about it, you can probably start thinking about additional habits to start adding. There are a lot of conflicting suggestions on how many times it takes to do something before it becomes a habit. 21 days, 6 weeks, 4 months. What I have found is that it's different for every person. If you can commit to never missing a day, then you will turn the task into a habit more quickly. However, most of us miss a few days here and there before we even realize that we missed and start back up. These breaks will extend how long it takes for it to become a permanent habit, but it doesn't restart the clock on some imaginary 21-day time frame for building a new habit. Like I mentioned in last week's episode on getting started with your fitness journey, Winston Churchill was quoted to say, "Perfection is the enemy of progress." So if you miss a day building a new habit, just identify what barrier caused you to miss it and adjust to get it back into your day. Figuring out why you missed the habit is often quite difficult as well. Just don't blame yourself for missing it and look for the obvious issue. Let's say you missed your protein goal and your habit is to hit your protein goals every day while working out 3 to 5 times per week. When you do a check-in, you find out that you didn't have enough protein prepped and your lunch break was too short to get more cooked. This would lead towards needing to add additional protein into your meal prep during the weekend to ensure that you are able to meet your goals. If you are using a planner, I like Panda Planner, write down your notes that you need to make adjustments to help you meet your daily goals. One of the reasons that I love this planner is that they have a spot to check off if you hit your habit goal for the day. Remember not to go overboard and set reasonable and attainable goals. And try doing just one at a time for a few weeks and focus on just that goal before adding new goals. I'd love to hear about the small nutritional changes you've made and how they've impacted your life. Share your tips and stories with us. Leave them in the comments here or on Instagram, or send us an email. Your journey could inspire someone else to make a healthy change. As we wrap up today's episode, I want to encourage you to embrace these simple changes. Nutrition doesn't have to be complicated. It's all about making better choices one meal at a time. Stay tuned for our next episode, where we'll explore enhancing your life with simple tools and an introduction to biooptimization. Thank you for joining me on this journey to a healthier lifestyle. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and LinkedIn for more insights and inspiration. Until next time, keep making those small changes towards a big difference. And that wraps up another episode of the Mindset to Motion podcast. Thank you for sharing this time with us. And remember, every step you take is a step closer to a better you. For more insights, tips, and stories, make sure you subscribe, follow, and join us next time as we continue to transform our mindsets and set our lives in motion. Don't forget to check us out on Facebook and Instagram for more resources and support. Here's to moving forward, one thought, one action at a time. Until next time, keep your mindset in motion.